This
Tracy,
conference will
this
now
is
be
your
recorded.
man. Hey, why you recording? Hey, Mr. Boyd, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
This is not, look, this is not Tracy
We'll
Lee.
cover
This
that
is
later. We'll cover that
This
later.
is Jaquan Span, but don't give me the wrong attendance. This
I
is not Tracy Lee.
heard that earlier. I heard you earlier. That's
All
enough.
right. All right.
So this method is good. You know, it does allow us to record whether you hear, whether you attended office hours, etc. And the recordings are so that you can view those recordings later. If you need to go back over the lecture or whatever, you'll be able to do that. And the recordings are fairly long, and they do them in 4K. So I probably, it can't be emailed, so I probably will put them in a YouTube at a certain point. Okay. So once again, let's put up the calendar. You are mighty quiet today. And we simply said that we will begin to work on this material over the next couple of weeks. Around the 16th, possibly an individualized test on this material. And on the 23rd, you should be presenting your first year. And as you present that first year, each team presents separately for 15 minutes. And the project should be complete, or needs to be complete then, and you'll be showing me that project. Any further questions?
What day was that you said? The 15th?
What day was that I said? What day did I say?
Oh, Lord. Boy.
16th quiz, 23rd, you should be presenting to me your first year.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Dr. Boyd, hello.
Yes.
Do you have office hours Monday from what time? What time was it?
11 to 1.
Is that only on Monday? Because I have class at that time.
Well, I'm always in the office between 12:30 and 2:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Wait, hold on. You mean like on campus in the office?
No, virtual office hours.
Oh, I was like,
If you need a different time, just let us know.
Okay. Yeah, we're kind of still struggling with the project, but I think you said we only need assumptions due tomorrow, or do the whole part two, because you confused me on that too.
Well, part 2 are the assumptions, so you're supposed to complete all of that.
Yeah, no, and then there's like the logo and all that, but like I think we have that figured out.
You
Okay.
got 5 people in your group, put each one of them to work doing something.
Okay. I also have like a problem. So like, do you really need us to be professionally dressed? Because like I'm like not able to do that, maybe.
Well, as long as you have it right, the professional dress points won't count as much.
Oh, are you serious? I cannot get to it. Like it's close to my dorm.
They close your dorm?
Well, we have to move out, and it is international. I couldn't go home, so I'm in my friend's house.
Oh,
You know.
put on some of your friends' clothes.
Okay.
We'll
Bet. Just remember you said
we
that.
only talking about the top half of you, okay?
Just remember you said that.
We're all talking about the top half.
Okay.
If he was in class, you'd have to have shoes and everything on. You should be able to handle that. Okay. We worked on break even last time on your tests, etc. This chart shows dollars on the vertical axis and quantities on the horizontal axis. And you can see at a certain point, break even dollars, you're going to be at a 0 in terms of profit or loss. If you sell less than that, then you're going to be in a loss category. If you sell more than the break even, then you'll be in a profit. So this is just a chart that shows this. Here are those 3 equations that you're supposed to memorize. So we're working with them, we showed them to you, but you're supposed to memorize those 3 equations so you can work easily and quickly and efficiently. We looked at this problem last time and we said that we had a company that sold items 20, 10, 10, and 160, and it made $2 million. But there were some quarters where it did not have enough cash and would not have been able to say make payroll, pay rent, unless it had a line of credit. And so what we're doing with the master budget process is to look at creating statements so we can ascertain that. So with a manufacturing company, so that's your project, a manufacturing company. We're looking at a process where you can create a cash budget, so you can determine whether or not you need to borrow, but at the same time, an income statement and a beginning balance sheet and a budgeted balance sheet at the end. So
Dr. Boyd, are you showing a screen?
What?
Are you showing a screen or are you just like giving a lecture? Because we cannot see it.
Can you see it now?
No. Oh yeah, now we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Nobody else said anything. I just sitting back there.
We thought you was just talking. Can you make it a little bigger?
It was George. Give credit to George. Thank you.
I don't know if we can make the picture bigger or not. It's not gonna move any. But we're covering the same thing. So wait a minute. Let me go to view. Thank you, George.
Well, this is posted on Blackboard anyway, right?
Yes, it's about Blackboard. So
yeah, so you good. Yeah, you got it.
Where is this on Blackboard?
In course content.
What's the name of it?
Master budget insert. So it's in the primer.
Oh, okay.
And it's not trying to let me make it any larger for some reason. Okay, here we go. So thank you, George. We'll go back over this quickly. That in this problem we had before, we're going to make $2 million. But if we didn't have a line of credit already set up, we would not be able to pay our expenses. And therefore, we would be out of business. And we would never make it this far. Now, when I sent that information to you all, I told you to make your copies so you'd be able to work. So you all will be working to handle this. So when we have a manufacturing company, and before, we did the financial statements and everything, it was after the fact. We'd be told what was going to happen. Now we're at the beginning of the process. We're creating the company, and we're looking at how you create statements, which is going to be helpful, so that you have a cash budget that shows your cash, needs quarterly, then a budgeted income statement, and then a beginning and ending balance sheet. And a key thing, the ending budget amount that is on this cash budget has to be the balance that's on the balance sheet. And I'll say it a second time. When you got an ending cash on your cash budget, that same number has to be on the balance sheet. And the third time, when you have an ending cash balance on the cash budget, that same number has to be on the balance sheet that you prepare. Okay, so the budgets that we have, the sales budget, the production budget, ending inventory budget, selling administrative, direct materials, direct labor, manufacturing overhead. We just create all of these budgets because we're making something, and then we feed the numbers in to get a cash budget. We also make journal entries so we can prepare these financial statements. So the income statement and balance sheet will fall right out because you will be making journal entries as part of the process. So as we said, you're going to make all of these budgets for each year. And then you're going to prepare these financial statements. So for the first year, when you lose 100,000, you got to prepare all of these budgets and then create financial statements. Excel is going to be critical. Now, in the write-up, it talks about each schedule and how it operates. So, and the one we're working on today is the sales schedule. So we got all these to do, but we're just going to do sales today. Okay, that's all we're going to do. But then there's steps for the production budget, raw materials. You need a raw material schedule for each raw material project. Labor, manufacturing overhead, selling expense, administrative expense, capital expenditure budget, cash operating budget, and the financial statement. So you got the descriptions laid out on how to do everything you need to do. Now, in our problem today, these are our assumptions. Your quarterly sales occur 10, 20, 30, and 40. Your selling price is 500, so you're given that. You collect 40% in the month of sale, 50% in the month after sale. So all your sales on a credit, and these are actually quarters, but you only collect 40% of the amount in the quarter of sale and 50% the next quarter. Desired in the inventory, raw materials ink, raw materials paper, how you pay for it, direct labor, manufacturing overhead each quarter, so you add them up for the year. Not concerned about the depreciation yet, just a total number. Selling expenses, 30% of the sales price, administrative expense, depreciation. Your initial cash balance on your project is 200,000. You must keep 100,000 in the bank at the end of each quarter. And our problem here, we bought equipment costing $1 million, and we pay interest of 25,000 a quarter and principal of 100,000. So with these assumptions on this in-class problem, we are, and you all are, going to do each one of these budgets and these financial statements. That's what we're doing over the next 2 weeks, starting just with the sales budget today. Any questions? Okay, so let me get back here. And so these are our assumptions. So the first thing we're going to do today is something that you just finished doing, so you know how to do it. And it's going to be good for your project. You need to go through and practice and make sure that your numbers are going to work out to be where they need to be. So I want you to go through with those assumptions that we just looked at and come up, fill in this chart, come up with your selling price, which we gave you, your variable cost, contribution margin, your fixed cost, and come up with my break-even quantity, my target loss of 100,000 quantity, and my break-even quantity, and then put it in the formula to make sure you got the right numbers. So you're going to need to do this on your project, and you need to, so we're going to practice it now with these assumptions. So what I want you to do is to go through now and make these calculations Take about 10 minutes to do this based on these assumptions. Can we get that done? Good. So let's fill this out. And like I said, you just had this on a quiz. Same look. And get me my quantities for a target loss of 100,000 and break even of 100,000. Get to work. You got 10 minutes. After that 10 minutes, you have to submit it.
Can we access this lecture like after this class?
Since it's being recorded, you should be able to. And then in the office hours, I can replay it too. For part of office hours that I replay it, or you can email me and say, okay, would you put the lecture on tomorrow, whenever, and
Okay.
I can put it up. You can sign in and listen to it.
Okay.
But right now, I want you to do what you did on your exam. See how y'all coming. What number goes right here?
Boy, we can't see the computer. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm looking at you instead of the computer.
I won't say anything. What number goes right here? What number do you think goes there?
Would it be 4?
500?
208.
Thank you, thank you. 500, the selling price.
Yeah.
So we're just doing what you did on your exam. Did y'all make A's?
We haven't graded it yet.
Well, I don't have to grade it, do I? It's all. It's gonna be an A, right?
I don't know, do we?
Sure.
What's this called? What's that file called so I can print it out?
This is the master budget insert. So you were told when you got it to make copies of it, especially of all the charts and everything. So you work along and fill it out. You got to do that. You can't just watch me work it.
Services.
You got 10 minutes to get the rest of this done now, since you had trouble with the selling price.
Do we do it for 1 unit of ink and 1 unit of paper? Like just one?
You're doing it to make one book. Same thing you're supposed to be doing on
Well, it's
Tuesday.
quite the same thing, is it?
This chart was on there.
Yeah, but the assumptions were different.
So now we're moving to your project, but it's the same thing. How much ink is it?
Would it be the 10?
5 ink cartridges
Oh,
at
5. Oh,
$10.
okay, never mind. I'm stupid. You're right.
50. Now, can y'all do some more? Can y'all do something now? How much is the paper probably?
That would be 49, huh?
49, 7 times 7. How much is the labor? Don't all talk at once.
Wait, you're going too fast. Hold on. Okay, so
$1.
that would be 1.
Big one. How much are the bad debts?
Hmm.
We don't put it in here exactly, but if you're collecting 40%, then 50%, your bad debts is 10%.
Okay, so 10% of what? Or you just put 10%?
Selling price, 10% of the selling price.
Oh, okay.
How much that might be? How much, Rima?
Would it be 50?
And finally, the selling expense. %30 of sales. So what might that selling expense be? Can't hear you all.
Do we? No, never. I don't know. Oh, credit sales, is it the 500?
30% of the 500
Okay.
or 150.
So that'd be 150? Oh yeah, you said that already. Never mind.
So can y'all add up the total variable costs? Can you add up the total variable costs?
Yes, sir.
How much did y'all get? What?
300.
Good, 300.
300.
I see some ID, please, because you are not the Lamar that I was married to. No, I'm not. Pretty soon I'm gonna have everything.
I mean, you could have just told us, you know.
Should have been able to add those numbers up too. Contribution margin, can you calculate that?
I need some more water. We've had some good times.
Oh, watching TV. Oh.
All that, kick them out.
Down to our last.
Now we cannot hear you. Or, I don't know, are you talking?
No, I'm not talking. I'm waiting for you all to talk. Contribution margin. Give me
200.
200. Thank you. Okay, let's see if we can get these fixed costs in. Manufacturing overhead, 25,000 a quarter. So how much might that be? 100,000. Up 200. Then administrative expense, 50,000 a quarter. So how much is that for the year?
40,000.
Now don't worry about the depreciation. You just
Wait. Oh, never mind.
50, 50, 50, 50.
I look
That's-
at the bottom.
Then
row.
the interest expense is how much?
Where's that at? Oh, 100.
So can you add up the total fixed cost?
That's 400.
So now calculate for me my quantities to lose 100,000 and break even. And then prove it by completing the chart.
So that's 1,500 for the total loss.
So one says it's 1,500. How do you get 1,500?
Total cost. I subtract 100,000 from that and divide it by 200 as the contribution margin.
Someone else, what's our break-even quantity gonna be? Someone else other than Raka. See if anybody else is alive.
Wait, can she explain how she did that again, please? I didn't hear her.
Bring it to them.
Oh, okay. You do the total fixed cost, which is the 400,000. You subtract the 100,000, which is your total loss, and then you divide it by 200, which is your contribution margin.
Thank you.
And what she is simply doing is what? Utilizing those formulas I told you to memorize. So on a target loss, fixed cost minus the target loss, divided by the unit contribution margin. So you got to be able to work with those formulas. So go and finish this one up. And then prove it. Take about 3 minutes to do that.
The quantity for the break even is at 2,000. Yeah, right.
Yes, ma'am. I got the number.
Okay.
Got it proved?
Not yet. So for the sales, do we multiply it by the selling price?
That kind of sounds like what you need to do.
Okay.
And you all just do this on Tuesday?
Well, not like this.
The same chart was in there.
Yeah, we didn't.
So can we multiply 500 times 1,500?
Yeah, that's 750,000.
Then can we possibly multiply 300 times 1,500?
It's 450.
So our contribution margin is what?
200.
How much is the contribution margin?
Oh, never mind. You have to multiply 200 by 300,000.
Okay. So you can get that number two ways.
You can
You
subtract
can
sales
subtract
minus the
450 from 750, or you can multiply 1,500 times 200,000. Our fixed costs are how much?
300,000.
I thought they were 400,000.
Wait, no.
400,000.
Yeah, I switched
So
the
your
number.
loss is 100,000. Now go see if y'all can break even. What's our sales on the break even?
It's a 1 million.
What's our cost of sales on the break even?
What's our what? Oh, 600,000.
How we get 600,000?
2,000 times 300.
Okay. So what's our contribution margin?
400.
Fixed costs?
400. Is the fixed cost the same always? Yeah, I guess that's why it's fixed.
You can change it each year.
No, I know. I mean, like we're multiplying everything by the quantity, but I guess it makes sense since it's fixed cost that it's gonna stay the same, right?
Stay the same.
Okay.
You know, on your project, the fixed costs might go up, so these quantity calculations change. Okay. Let's tackle this sales budget and cash receipts budget. That's all we're doing today. So that's all you have to do today. Says quarterly sales percent. So I'm gonna go up here and pick up my assumptions for the sales. I'm gonna copy it. So I just copied my assumptions. Then I need a sales quantity. Of course, this is the first year, target loss of 100,000. So what number you think is gonna go here? Any thought what number might go here? Might that number be 1,500? Yes, that number might be 1,500.
Because, well, how do we know which year do we pick?
Well, you're doing the target loss year of 100,000.
Oh, you do? Okay, you said that. I
Then you
missed
do
that.
that next year next.
Oh, okay, I see. Oh, yeah, I see.
So if I'm selling 1,500 for the whole year, how many do I sell the first quarter?
150,
How many do I sell the second quarter?
300,
How many do I sell the third quarter?
450,
And how many do I sell the final quarter?
600.
And those would add up to the 1,500. So all we've done is, given what we did to calculate that quantity, we have now showed how much the quantity that's going to be sold each quarter. And it's going to be a good idea if that quantity is correct. It's going to be a good idea if the quantity is correct. Now, our selling price is what? How much did we say we're selling them for?
500.
500.
Selling price is 500. Okay. So what's our total sales in the first quarter? What are the total sales in the first quarter?
150 times 500.
So what?
150 times 500.
Correct. How much is that?
75,000.
Okay. How much are the credits? How much are the sales in the second quarter? And we said they're all credit sales. Maybe 150,000, maybe.
150.
How much in the third quarter?
225,000.
And how much in the fourth quarter?
300,000. I believe.
Yeah.
And what's our total sales then?
$750,000.
Okay.
750.
And we're going to make all the sales credit sales. So we can come and post, paste them down here. Then I'm going to come up here and put JE. I'm going to put a JE here. So what this tells us is that we're going to make a journal entry with that number. The bad debts we said were what? 10%, right? Bad debts of 10%. So it's going to be how much here?
7,500.
How much here?
15,000.
How much here?
22,500. And 30.
And so that should give us a total bad debts of what? And I'm going to put a JE here, which means that we're going to make a journal entry. So we're gathering the information for the journal entries we need to make with the schedule. Okay, collection. It says that in the quarter sale, month sale, but in the quarter sale, we collect 40% of the money. So we had 75,000 and we collected 40% of it. So how much of it we collecting?
$30,000. And where did you get the 40% from?
Assumptions.
Oh,
40%
okay.
in the month of sale and 50% the next month.
Okay.
So how much is this?
Hold on. I got 30,000, but let me recalculate that. Yeah, 30,000.
Okay.
What are you
So
calculating?
You do 40 over 100 and multiply by 75,000.
I just say 0.4.
Okay.
0.4,
Okay.
75,000.
Wait.
Now the 0.4, 40%, 0.4.
Oh, 0.4.
Same
40. Same thing.
The next
Same.
one's 60,000.
Well, okay, so you say you on this sale you're collecting how much? 60,000?
Yes.
Okay. So when we get to this month, if we take 60%, how much is it? 225.
60% of 225.
Wait, 60%?
And not 40?
135. Hold on. Whoa.
40%. How
Oh,
much is
yeah.
It's
that?
40%. I got 90,000.
9,000.
Hold on. Where you
And
get 60?
120,000 for the next one.
So it increase by 10 every year,
No.
month?
When we make a sale, we on this line here. When we make a sale, we collect 40% of our money in the month we make the sale. When you pay your tuition, if your tuition is 5,000 and you pay 50% in August, then 25% in September and October, university, even though they made a total sale of 5,000, they're only getting 50% of your money in the month the sale was made. Got it? Any questions? Okay. See if we can do a little critical thing, just a little bit. Now, for the 75,000, they tell us that we're gonna get our other 50% the next quarter. So we're gonna take 50% of 75,000 and put 37,500 here. So in the second quarter, we get 40% of the current month plus 50% of that prior month. So see how we zigzag over here in terms of our collection. So we're collecting so much of the current month, then we're getting the rest of it the next month. So on the 150, we collected 40% in the month of sale. We're gonna get the other 75,000 the next quarter. And finally, for the 225, we got 40% in the month of sale. We're gonna get the other 50% the next quarter. 112, is that right? 112,500.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So notice what's happening. We're taking 40% of the month of the money and getting it in the quarter of sale. Then the other 50% we get the next quarter. So we zigzag over. Okay. So our total collection in the first quarter is how much?
30,000.
30,000. Second quarter,
97,500.
third quarter,
165.
fourth quarter,
232,500.
so what
Did you
our
get?
total?
Wait, it's 32. Oh yeah. Oh, never mind. I saw it as an 8 on your computer.
Okay. So what's the total amount that we collected over all 4 quarters?
525.
Take your word for it. 525,000. So the sales were what? 750. But the collections were only 525. Now we're going to put in this block journal entry and cash budget. Okay, so we've got the sales budget complete. So you'll be doing the same thing in your project and turn this in at least by Wednesday of next week. Now, let's see what we do. We get these collections.
Could you repeat what you just said?
What?
What was due next week?
For that one, sadly, we don't service the area.
This schedule for your project.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is this the part 2 project?
Part 3.
Oh, okay.
So on the cash budget, we're going to come down here where collections are. We're going to paste those numbers in. Okay. So whenever we see CB, that means that whatever was there, we're going to bring it to the cash budget where we determine whether we need to borrow money or not. And all of those other schedules are going to tell us those amounts. Our beginning cash was what? So we know we got cash available of 230,000. And this minimum cash here has to be 100. Okay, now we're ready to make some journal entries. I even got the accounts in here. Okay. So in each area, you're told what journal entries you got to make. So under the sales budget, you have 5 journal entries. The initial capital investment, the total sales, they're all on credit, the bad debt, the collections of the receivables, and the cost of goods sold. So what I want you to do now is make those 5 entries. So you got your JE designation, that's where your dollar amount's coming from. And these are total, these are yearly amounts. So make my journal entries. What is the first journal entry?
Cash and common stock.
We're gonna debit cash for 200,000. We're gonna credit common stock for 200,000. All our sales were on account. So how much were they? What were the total sales for J?
Hold on.
How much?
750.
Bad debts were what?
75.
7,500.
Yes, sir.
So notice your amounts are right there on that sales schedule. You should have it. Accounts receivable.
Wait. No, it was 75,000. My bad. It was 10% of the sales.
And how much did we collect all total?
525.
Okay, so you know there's always a companion entry when we sell inventory. So I'm going to let you calculate this yourself. Notice that the sales on our test schedule, our solution, is what? The same sales on this chart. So the sales that we calculated here are the same that appear on this chart. So this chart gives us all the information we need to determine collections and make the first 5 journal entries. Are there Any questions?
Did your fifth one again? Can you
Pardon?
like down? How
Say
did
what
you do fifth journal entry?
Yeah, y'all calculate that. I'll make y'all do something today.
Oh.
Tells you how to do it. So you all make the calculation. It's in the assumptions. You got the accounts, and so you make the calculations. So now that we've done the sales budget and cash receipts, we got the production budget to do, raw materials ink, raw materials paper, and direct labor budget. Okay. So those are the budgets that we'll review the sales budget. We will work on those budgets on Tuesday, and you will be turning in as a quiz that information on your project.
Can you go back to the journal entries, please?
Okay, so
Can you go down to the journal entry or